right now the breaking news that in this major reversal, Disney will bring Jimmy Kimmel back. That is a long ways from how they sounded last week, and that will be tomorrow. Disney and ABC announcing Kimmel goes back on the air despite these government Trump efforts to silence him tomorrow. Here is the statement. I'm going to read you exactly what Disney said so you can make sense of it yourself. Last Wednesday, we made the decision, these Disney executives say, to, quote, suspend production on the show, referring to Kimmel, to avoid further inflaming a tense situation at an emotional moment for our country. They continue today, quote, we have spent the last days having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy, and after those conversations, we reached the decision to return the show on Tuesday. So that is the news, and that's how they're putting it. Of course, there's a lot more to this, and we're going to get into that right now. I'm curious, does this show that some amount of public pressure works?
Yeah, I think it shows quite clearly the resistance works. You know, this is a lesson that I think the American people understand. We saw with the No Kings protest. We saw with people canceling Disney Plus. But ever since Trump has been inaugurated in office, we have seen the elites in this country, the CEO class, take the opposite lesson. I do think that Bob Iger's decision to settle with Trump and give money to his presidential library in December of last year actually set a tone of elite submission that we have seen throughout media. We have seen it throughout academia. We've seen it with the law firms, et cetera. It's the actual regular Americans who have stood up and made a difference.
Howard?
I think that's exactly right. And, you know, that what Oliver minus one word had to say about bullies is exactly right. And the amazing thing to me is the cowardice of the huge corporations. And Iger is not known for that. And he, I think, finally realized that this was going to be a huge problem. But look at all the tech companies, which are gazillionaires. They're kissing Trump's you-know-what all the time. And that is not a winning strategy in the long run. And I think consumers just proved to Disney it was not a winning strategy.
Yes, and it clearly wrapped all of Disney in a choice that actually is just one small part of their empire, Che. And so on one hand, you could imagine corporate leaders who aren't looking for this fight and wrongly perhaps think they can get away from it to say, oh, this is just a little part, right? The actual amount of revenue for a late night show compared to Disney and the parks and everything and the Marvel movies is small. And yet what you both just referred to, a massive, righteous, and very clear backlash actually supersized it up to affect some other parts of Disney, Che.
Yeah, and the reality is that, you know, people talk about the broadcast TV model and how that's a small part of the Disney empire. What makes anybody at Disney think it's just going to end with Jimmy Kimmel? What's to stop after this? Donald Trump saying, you know, you guys own Star Wars. I would like Luke Skywalker to start looking like Don Jr. You guys are doing
or
this
at least,
remake.
Che, or at least have an orange lightsaber in the mix.
Exactly. That's a great point. Or, you know, or have the Jedi Alliance wear MAGA caps now. I mean, you know, they could decide to dictate every element of Disney's business, the nature of the entertainment, who they hire at their theme parks. Maybe Trump says, hey, I want you to look through the social media of all your employees and get rid of those people who said bad things about me. You know, what we know is if you give bullies an inch, they take a mile. That is why, as Timothy Snyder pointed out, with authoritarianism, don't give an inch.
Yeah, and I don't know how often, Governor, that David Letterman and Ted Cruz agree on a comedic punchline or how to make a point. But they both attacked the Trump FCC as the mob. And this comes, of course, in the wider climate where that's not, what's the word I'm looking for? That's not hyperbolic because Donald Trump is literally threatening opponents, saying he wants his opponents silenced, indicted, jailed, not because they've done any crime, but because of their free speech. So it's not like the Kimmel thing happens in a vacuum. Other people's free speech is being sanctioned with other things. And they both liken this to mob tactics. Here's Letterman. Take a listen, Howard.
Brendan Carr, yes. So this guy, the FCC, is we can do things the easy way, we can do things the hard way. Who is hiring these goons? Mario Puzo? The FCC, we're not happy until you're not happy.
Governor?
You know, the same thing is going on, interestingly, in the Democratic Party. The government shutdown is a perfect example of it. They raised the white flag the last time and let some ridiculous, awful bill through that's going to do a lot of damage to the public, especially including a lot of Trump voters in red states. And now they're saying, no, we're not, unless you include us in the negotiation and we can do something for these folks that we care about, we're not supporting you. And if the government closes, that's your problem. If you don't do that, there'll be more and more of this pushing people around. So this is a Trump tactic. He used it in business for years and years and years. He wasn't a particularly successful business guy, and this is not a particularly successful tactic as long as Americans remember who they are. And there's been a lot of Americans forgetting what America is about, and I think the Disney people learned the hard way that we still have America and we still are going to resist being pushed around.
It all makes sense on that point. And Che, still thinking about the deep point you made that there's no boundary to this. I mean, Trump is shaking down tech companies for money. And that's gotten a lot of concern on Wall Street, but hasn't been sort of noticed perhaps the same way. You're saying he could shake down other parts of the Disney empire. You're saying that this doesn't stop until you resist and make it stop. And so I'm curious what you think looking forward, Che, about this as a story, because we do know people learn, and Disney knows better than most, people learn more through story as a shape of information than through long books that we might enjoy reading, but some people don't read, or studying First Amendment precedents, which I've done, but not everyone knows them all. The story of they took on Kimmel, they broke a company as big as Disney, and they were crowing about it. And then how quickly this story now has another chapter. Che, if Kimmel is restored and stays on air, does that, in your view, in terms of how politics works, resonate with what you said earlier, the elites who have proven to be less courageous than the public?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what this story points to is something that you discuss a lot on The Beat, which is the power of culture to shape politics. You know, Jimmy Kimmel has done more to highlight the threat of authoritarianism in America than almost anything else I can imagine. I remember just 2 weeks ago, Ezra Klein wrote an op-ed saying, you know, Democrats need to talk about the authoritarianism, stop pretending like this is normal. Maybe you should use the government shutdown to bring light to the threat of authoritarianism in America. Well, Jimmy Kimmel did that more than any Democratic politician could ever possibly do. It points to the constant importance of art and culture and comedy in shaping the national narrative.